I was lucky to become a CEO and a director at 30.
It's not luck for sure. It can't be. We are talking about those days when Airtel in India was a startup, right? It was more like a startup.
Yeah, Airtel was a startup, just like today you have so many startups, and we were a very small company, loss-making company, but we had the long-term building blocks sorted.
So, any important lessons that today's startups should remember while going for international expansion?
You should dominate the home market, the domestic market.
Got it.
If you're not big in India, don't go international.
SoftBank goes about investing in certain companies, certain startups. So, what are the parameters that it sees?
The parameters are very clear. Firstly,
as a startup coach, what are some of the major mistakes that today's founders make?
You know, founders are very good on technology. They're very good on passion. They're very good on new product for the consumer. They're very good in many, many things. But I think what they don't fully understand is scalability. How to scale up the business from 1x to 2x to 5x, 10x, 20x.
So let's now talk about your journey from 1 million customers to 400 million customers.
It's nice.
What is Airtel Ringtone doing in Startup Stories with Sanjana? Well, I know you have this question on your mind. Today, I have a very special guest with me who has been the CEO of Airtel for over a decade and who has built Airtel to what it is today from the time it was called a startup itself. Well, he started his career as a HR and he climbed up the corporate ladders to become the CEO of DCM Shriram and then the CEO of Airtel and then the country head of SoftBank in India. And today, a startup coach to multiple billion-dollar companies, billion-dollar startups in India. Well, I can only imagine the kind of lessons we are going to learn in this episode today. So today I have my youngest friend, Mr. Manoj Kohli. And welcome to the next episode of Startup Stories with Sanjana, sir. I'm so excited to have you on the show. He has a lot of insights and inspiring story to share with us today. But before we derive a lot of insights and everything, right, I want to understand his early life and how his family has played a role in shaping him into the man he is today. So can you please talk about that, sir?
Thank you, Sanjana. My family, as everyone's family, like your family, was instrumental in building me, building my values, building my character. And we come from a middle-class family, coming over to India in partition time, lost everything in partition. My parents, when they came from Lahore and Rawalpindi to Delhi in 1947. So there was an ethos of hard work. There was an ethos of being honest. There was an ethos of humility. There was an ethos of hunger to do better every day. And there was an ethos of frugality. All these good values, core values were taught when I was young. So I think I'm blessed that I followed these values through my professional career, which my family built in me.
Wow, that's so great to hear. And we are talking about 1950s, right?
Yeah,
50s
yeah.
and 60s.
So I am. I've completed. I am now in my 45th year of professional life.
Wow.
And I think I've tried to share the same values, same ethos with my children, and now I'm trying to do it with my grandchild.
And with us also.
Yes.
So you have studied in Shriram College of Commerce. And you've done your BCom there. And post that, you've joined DCM Shriram. So, and then you climbed up the ladder to become the CEO of it. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey over there, about climbing corporate ladders?
So I was 20 when I passed out from Shriram College, and Shriram College, as you know, is a very good institution, and I got placed in TCM. And initially I was a trainee and got trained in many functions, got trained in many businesses like sugar, chemicals, fertilizers, and many others. So initial training was fantastic, and then I got into HR. I was placed into HR function.
Okay.
So for next 7-8 years, I was in HR and looking after all the industrial relations, all the trade union activities in Delhi, in sugar, in some other factories, till when I completed about 10 years of my career, I had already done my law MBA in the part-time.
While you were working there?
While I was
Oh my
working,
God.
because frankly, my parents, my father told me that you should get into a job immediately after Shriram College, because, I had 2 sisters to marry, and so I wanted to build my career immediately, but I didn't want to leave education. So I did law and MBA after that. And after that, at 28 or so, I got married. And at about 30, I got a first break as a general manager and a CEO.
Wow.
So I moved to Calcutta in a Sikh company, group company, Shriram company, which was sick and making losses. So I was placed in Calcutta. Next 3 years I was there, and I turned around that business. And then I was placed in Hyderabad in a refrigeration and air conditioning company as a CEO for next 3 years. It was a much larger business of 300 crores. And those days, 300 crores was a big number.
Yes, it is.
And again, it had a lot of challenges. I really worked hard to get better product, better market share, better profits. So that was, I'll say, of the 16 years in Shriram, 10 years was initial build-up and a lot of training, a lot of HR and trade union focus. And last 6 years was the CEO.
Okay.
And I was lucky to become a CEO and a director at 30.
It's not luck for sure. It can't be. Oh my God, what a journey. And after you became the CEO of a manufacturing, in the manufacturing sector, I think it's a comfortable role after, getting to a position. So what made you take a pivot after that?
So I felt after completing 16 years that I should make a change and do something which is more exciting. Not that manufacturing was not exciting. I think I loved it. But I thought, let me explore. Mm-hmm. And luckily, I got a break in Telecom. Okay. And I remember that interview with Mr. Nanda, Rajan Nanda had with me, and he said, you can do either tractors, because Escorts, as you know, is a big tractors company, or you can do JCB, you can lead JCB business, which was very high market share business, or you can do mobile. So I said mobile. And he was a bit surprised that, you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And I said, exactly, I don't know anything, and that's why I want to do it.
Wow.
Because I think it has a long-term potential of growth in this country, and I would like to learn everything within 6 months. So within 6 months, I didn't become an expert, but definitely I learned so much about mobile and various aspects of it, technology, contracts, large contracts, market growth, how markets have to be built up, how distribution has to be built up, how brand has to be built up, all that from ground zero.
How did you go about that, sir? How was your learning journey?
I think my learning agility has always been very high, and that's a blessing of God. But I think I definitely in those 6 months I worked very hard to learn much more. I met many people. I read a lot. I understood many new things, technology issues from AT&T, who were our partners, Lucent Technologies, who were partners, and many other technologists I met, because I didn't know about technology, and that was critical. So learning agility has to be high. You have to learn much faster.
Awesome. I am sure it takes a lot of humility for a person of CEO stature to go down a new road which is completely fresh and allow ourselves to become a beginner in the other
Yeah,
sector.
so I was a CEO trainee
Oh my God.
for at least 6 months, if not more. But I had, I think, the basic principles of management right in my mind. So
Okay.
principles of management, principles of which were important and apply to many businesses. And I focused a lot on new learning. And in 6 months, I think I was comfortable.
Wow. So, and then Airtel happened.
Then I joined after that Airtel, when Airtel was about 1 million customers.
Yeah.
And
It was 2002.
we are
if I'm
very
not wrong.
exciting journey. And I worked hard, and over next 15 years, I was able to lead, and the team did a fantastic job. And Airtel went up to 400 million customers
My God.
in 20 countries, which actually is maybe the biggest scale up, because generally 10x scale up is considered to be a big scale up. This was 400x.
400x. My
And,
God.
and not in one country, in multiple countries, and in Asia and in Africa.
Wow. So let's now talk about your journey from 1 million customers to 400 million customers. So we are talking about those days when Airtel in India was a startup, right? It was more like a startup.
Yeah, Airtel was a startup, just like today you have so many startups, and we were a very small company, loss-making company, few employees who were passionate, who were very enthusiastic to do things every day, and a small office. But we had the long-term building blocks sorted out.
Okay.
We knew that the long-term building block is we need to have a business model which is very unique and new, because we didn't have deep pockets like AT&T, Vodafone, Hutchison, Birlas, Tatas, Reliance. We didn't have deep pockets. So we thought, if you don't have deep pockets, then I think we should do something innovative, something new.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We built a new business model which was based on outsourcing. And therefore, we outsourced to Ericsson, Nokia, IBM, and many, many great partners, and built a business model which was new across the world.
Wow.
Second, we built an admired brand. Airtel was at ground zero at that time as a brand. But from ground zero, we picked it up and made it into the most admired brand in India. Number one, across categories, across products,
Yes.
which was very, very thrilling journey and most enjoyable journey of building a brand. Third, we built a work culture which was high performance and very, very professional, very high performance, very supportive culture. Transparent, open, flexible, youthful, full of celebrations, full of achievements, full of ability to acclimatize and ability to change yourself regularly.
Wow.
So I think it was a fantastic journey.
Awesome. Now, each point that you mentioned here, we have a lot to learn and apply in our lives. So let's dig deep into each aspect. So when we talk about business model, outsourcing is usually considered costly. Now, if we talk in a startup context, building everything in-house would usually be cheaper or a cost-effective way of going about it. So what do you think, sir? Is it the right idea?
No, we had a goal, which was primary goal of being the lowest cost producer per minute or per MB in the world.
Okay.
I think that goal was sacrosanct. And luckily the outsourcing started very early. It didn't start a bit late. So which means that both Airtel and the partners saw a huge future growth in front of us.
Okay.
And 1 million, which we had done earlier, was a small number. But what we will do will be, let's say 25 million, which is a big number, or 10 million, which is a big number, 10x number. Finally, we did much more than that. So both partners and Airtel looked at future in that way. Okay. And therefore, cost efficiency and productivity were very important for us if we wanted to be the lowest cost producer in the world. And so we kept that efficiency factor, cost efficiency factor, primary in our mind. We didn't compromise with that.
So it is still possible to outsource yet keep the costs
Absolutely.
very effective.
Absolutely. And this feeling that, this perception that outsourcing is expensive,
Yeah.
I don't think it's right.
Okay. Got it. So now talking about the second point that you mentioned about the high performance work culture. So being a HR yourself, and you've taught us a lot of examples of how to, harness a high performance work culture in any organization. So can you give our audience a few examples?
The youthful employees, the young employees who are either millennial employees or Gen Z employees, they expect very transparent, open, flexible culture.
True.
And they expect a lot of positive energy. They also expect a purposeful company, where purpose is beyond profits. So we actually built that kind of a culture.
Wow.
Where the employees were fully empowered. They were empowered more than their role and responsibility. And because we trusted them, there was a high degree of respect, high degree of trust on them. And that faith paid off. Yes, people did make some mistakes here and there, but they were not intentional mistakes. They were unintentional mistakes. And we had two rules of mistakes. That firstly, mistakes should not be repeated. Same mistake should not be repeated. And second, that cost of mistake should be cut on the day when you find out it's a mistake. Which means if you come to know today that you made a mistake, cut the cost today. Rather than wait for another week, wait for another month. If you feel it's a mistake, change it. Change the decision today.
Got it.
Rather than wait for any longer. So
basically quick decision making.
Absolutely. So we were very open in experimentation, in doing some new things, doing some innovative things which people hadn't done in the industry before us. And luckily, people had ownership of all that. I think because of good culture, openness in the culture, and trust in the culture, they proved a lot of new theories right. And I feel that kind of empowerment is always very good to give. Because people inherently are responsible people.
Yes.
They are inherently responsible. You just have to give them trust, give them empowerment, and they will do it.
So when we talk about giving them trust and empowerment, any examples of how you've tried to ensure that?
We had many goals. For example, I remember one year we had a goal of deploying 35,000 new towers.
Oh my God.
Which is 3,000 a month and 100 a day, and every new tower every 15 minutes.
Is it possible?
Yeah, so that was possible. We achieved more than 99% of the goal.
Oh my God.
And because the collaboration was fantastic, teamwork was great, planning was deep, and luckily funding was in place before time. Partnerships were working. But it worked like a well-oiled machine. And we had a lot of celebrations on the way because there were so many good things people did innovatively. I'm not saying they did shortcuts, but they did innovations on the way so that we could achieve this target.
Awesome.
So I'm just saying the tasks were tough, the goals were very stretched goals, but the journey was very enjoyable. That we made always possible because we had a lot of every small and big victory was celebrated.
Wow. That gives a lot of positive energy.
Yeah.
Awesome. So talking about the brand that Airtel has created, right? Even when you were mentioning the kind of brand it has created, on my mind, I could hear the Airtel ringtone. I use Airtel and Airtel ringtone is my favorite music of all time. So can you tell us more about the branding?
So branding, we always wanted the brand to be admired brand, an aspirational brand. Despite the fact that, it has become a product or a service for 1.4 billion people, which means everyone of all segments, urban areas, rural areas, a rich man, a poor man, middle class, everyone has a mobile phone. Still, we always wanted an aspirational brand which inspires you, which you aspire for. And even if you are not so well off, you should feel positive through inspiration given by this brand.
That's a beautiful thought.
Yeah, so we were very sensitive to that, and I think that brand building followed that theme. Rahman was a very important part of that, and he gave the signature tune which has made the brand permanent in the psyche of Indians.
Absolutely.
Because they listen to this signature tune. You may be in the other room, and the ad is coming on the television in the other room, and you still remember when you listen to the signature tune that this is Airtel.
And it is such kind of a tune which sticks with you for days together.
Yes. It sticks with you, and Rahman did an outstanding job.
Absolutely.
And by the way, those were early days of Rahman. He was not Oscar winner at that time.
Yes, and you've rightly identified him.
So our team identified him, and I think he did a fantastic job. So I think the brand character was always very, very carefully safeguarded. We kept the brand character very, very original, very admired, very inspirational always. That we safeguarded very carefully, because we didn't want the brand to, for example, too much tariff. If you talk about too much tariff, then brand becomes a bit cheap. Many brands have made this mistake. We never did that. We always kept brand up there. We always kept a premium on the tariff. Many commercials I remember we did, which didn't have mobile phone, but there was a message.
Actually.
For example, I remember there was a campaign called Express Yourself. It didn't have mobile phone. There was such messages, and it was a black and white campaign. You should see it sometimes. It is so good, and people across the country loved it, despite being black and white, despite having no mobile phone shown in that commercial. But the message went home. It touched the hearts of people. So brand actually came out very well.
I remember watching some advertisements, and yes, I remember the border and kids and the kind of subtle emotions that each advertisement played on, that just sticks with the audience.
Yeah, we also did a 360, which means whenever new campaign started, that campaign had 360 across the country, every medium, whether it was television, radio, cinema, billboards, every medium changed on the same night. So next morning when you wake up as a customer, you will see that one message across the country in all the mediums.
So the communication was uniform throughout.
Yes.
Brilliant. So when you went for international expansion, so what remained same and what had to change? And how was it like?
No, a lot of changes took place. Bangladesh and Sri Lanka came in first, which were neighboring countries. And even Bangladesh and Sri Lanka are so different from India. So we did some changes based on the local customer expectations. Because these markets, for example, Sri Lanka is a much smaller market. Bangladesh still is a larger market. And then we went to Africa in 17 countries. And there was an acquisition of $10.7 billion. And I can say that was a tough journey, because Africa as a continent is not an easy continent to do business in.
Oh, why is it so?
Because it is logistically difficult. Cost structures are very high. Elasticity of demand is compared to India lower. Okay. In those days, all the European aid and grants which were coming to Africa came down significantly, and many economies in Africa are dependent on that. So many factors happened, and therefore the turnaround became slower.
Okay.
And it took longer than we expected. But I'm very delighted and very gratified that finally Africa has turned out to be a very healthy business. The margins are very healthy now, better than many other telcos, and the business is throwing out free cash.
Awesome. So any important lessons that today's startups should remember while going for international expansion?
first and foremost is that you should dominate the home market, the domestic market.
Got it.
If you're not big in India, don't go international. First, become big in India. That's very important.
So when you say big?
By big means a healthy market share.
Got it.
Now, sector by sector, it will be different.
Yes.
In some sectors, 20% will be high. In some sectors, 30-40% may be possible. Whatever you decide as a dominant or a healthy market share in India should be possible first, should be achieved first before you go international.
Got it.
Once you achieve that, then go for large markets.
Okay.
Don't go for small markets, because the effort in going into large markets is same as small markets.
Makes sense.
So it is better to go for large markets because you will do better. Bang for the buck will be more. But don't try to go to all markets together. Make a step-by-step systematic plan, one by one. Go into one market, large market, settle down. It may take time. And then go to the next market, then go to the next market. So that way you will achieve success everywhere. If you try to do it faster, you will burn out. So it is better that you go do it in a very systematic, very orderly fashion. Because each market is different.
Yeah.
You will have to modify your product or service according to the local customer expectations, according to the local regulations of the government, according to the local competitive situation. So modification itself takes time.
Yes.
For example, let me give an example of Lenskart. Lenskart acquired this Japanese company, Ondays, and has gone into 12 countries in Asia Pacific now.
Oh my
So
God.
each country is
Okay.
different from India. Indonesia is different, Philippines is different, Malaysia is different, Singapore. All these countries are different. So consolidate that into your main company. It takes time, but don't try to do everything together. Better to go step by step so that you do a good job, have a good team, execute very well, and finally consolidate and integrate your home company and your international venture. Because then you'll get better economies of scale. It is also important, like Ola did that. They went into English-speaking markets first, and that was our discussion. And they went to Australia, New Zealand, UK, etc.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm sure they'll go to more markets now. So there has to be a logic. There has to be a step-by-step approach. Every market needs to become profitable rather than subsidizing by other markets. Every market you need to have a good organization, good leader who will lead that market, because the leader, for example, Nigeria, I selected a very, very high quality Nigerian to lead our Nigeria business, which was very large. And now that professional called Shegun is the Africa chief, and he's so good. So it's very important to have local leadership in international markets rather than taking leaders from India. So there are such many rules of the game which one has to learn.
Got it. So many things, and I'm so glad we got to learn a few. So talking about growth and profitability, today in the startup ecosystem of India, we see a lot of unicorns and billion-dollar companies struggling with profitability.
So there are three rules of the game which I've been reinforcing in the last 8 years when I was in SoftBank. And those are, number one, profitability, which means profitable growth.
Yeah.
Not growth for the sake of growth.
Exactly.
Not if you have a cash burn, is the cash burn declining every month? Which means every month you are improving, every month you are optimizing, every month you are trying to save some money, every month you're trying to improve your performance. Hence there's a decline curve which is there. If the curve is not declining, then there's something wrong. You need to modify your plan, need to modify your approach. So that is number one. Number two is cash flow. Very, very critical to safeguard cash flow at any cost. You can't burn cash. It is somebody else's money. You need to be careful. Every penny you spend should be spent very prudently so that it gives you bang for the buck. Do only those things which have a positive impact on the customers and positive impact on the top line, revenue growth. If it doesn't, then you need to think about the cost. And the third is good corporate governance, especially related party transactions should be avoided at any cost. So high quality corporate governance is important for the startups. And that's why in Airtel we did all this. We focused on profitability, we focused on cash flows, we focused on good corporate governance.
Yes.
And that's why Airtel is today where it is.
Exactly.
And the other startups in today's 110 unicorns in India, which are doing very well. And they're trying to follow these principles, basic principles of success. Some others are learning about them. And this investment winter is actually a good news.
Yes.
Because that is forcing many, many founders to learn these basic principles.
So from what you see today in the existing unicorns and all of that, do you see a trend of, because of the funding winters or because of learning from our global competitors or whatever, do you see a trend where startups are actually striving towards profitable growth during this time?
Absolutely. I think I can see that change in mindset the last year or two. And I think that's a very positive change.
Awesome.
And we should all reinforce that change. But finally, businesses are meant to succeed financially.
Yes.
If so much funding has been invested in each business, then I think the investors deserve to get a good return. And therefore the founder and the entire team, especially the leadership team, should be very sensitive to this.
Absolutely. Now, talking about investment, after Airtel, you've gone to be the country head of SoftBank. So can you share a little bit about your experience there?
SoftBank is a fantastic corporation led by a visionary called Masa, one of the largest VCs in the world, which started with a 100 billion fund, first fund, Vision Fund, and then second fund came in later. A very successful Japanese company, and now, of course, a global corporation. Invested $15 billion in India in 25 companies like Ola, Oyo, Delivery, First Cry, Lenskart, and many, many more, Flipkart, and many more. And I think it's actually been instrumental in this digital revolution in India.
Awesome. So when SoftBank goes about investing in certain companies, certain startups, so what are the parameters that it sees?
The parameters are very clear. Firstly, the product should be validated, which means the product should be acceptable to the customers, product or service. Second, the business model should be profitable.
Got it.
If it is not profitable, then it's bad news.
Yes.
Third, that the leadership, the professional leadership, the professionalization of the company should be done very well, rather than everything being done by founder. Fourth, that the ethics of the founder are important.
Okay.
We also check the ethics of the founder. Because if you are trusting millions and millions of dollars, then I think the founder has to be very ethical, deep core values, etc., etc. And last but not the least, the market size, which is growth potential of the company, should be across the country and even global. Scale up should be planned later. It's important that we don't invest in businesses which are small, which may not have great growth potential. So that is also a very important parameter.
Awesome. So now let's get into rapid fire. If you could invest in any one startup today, what would it be?
Lenskart.
Wow. We'll talk about why after the rapid fire. Which startup makes you feel you should have started it?
Ola Electric.
Okay. Who's your favorite founder?
Supam Maheshwari. He runs First Cry.
Okay.
He is, I think, a very grounded entrepreneur, founder, who is not only a Marwadi, but a very, very sound founder.
Beautiful. Your favorite pastime activity?
I love to listen to music, and I love to play with my grandchild.
So sweet. If you could meet any historical figure, who would you want to meet?
Mandela.
Wow. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I want to spend more time traveling across the world with my wife. And there's so many places we have to go, and we didn't get time in the last 36 years of married life.
Oh my God.
So now I should get more time, and if I have power, I'd like to see all those places.
I really hope God gives you that. What's the one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't had the chance to yet?
You know, I wanted to sing,
Oh, okay.
but I did not practice, and I did not make myself proficient.
Okay.
That's something which is a missed opportunity.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
My father, when I got my first salary, when I gave him the gift of a Raymond suit, he gave me advice that you should save your salary and build your own house, your own car, and your own telephone. And that started my approach towards savings and frugality.
Wow.
And I think that was a very good advice, because, you know, if you save and be frugal, life is better.
Amazing. Something that our generation should hear. What's the one thing you would change about the world if you could?
This climate change issue is very serious. I think already we're losing glaciers, we're losing North Pole, South Pole, temperatures are going up, storms are coming. I think if I can change anything, I'll green the world much more.
Wow. Your proudest achievement so far?
I have 3 achievements in my career and life. One is that I've got a great family.
Wow.
Second, I've got good health and fitness. And third, I think I've built a good reputation. So these 3 I would like to safeguard at any cost.
Brilliant. It's incredible to hear. So now I'm really curious to hear more about each of these. So the first question that you answered was Lenskart. So why would you
because
choose?
Eyes are the most sensitive part of human body. And if you can't see properly,
Mm-hmm.
or if India has, by the way, highest number of blind
True.
people, and if a young boy or a girl can't see the blackboard properly, I think that need has to be fulfilled.
True.
And that's why I believe Lenskart is doing something which is so important for human future, especially in India and other poor countries in the world.
I really admired the way your investment decision was based on the vision of the company more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And the next question you answered was Ola Electric, the one that you want to build.
Because Ola Electric is an EV. An EV is something which is so important for climate change and keeping the IC engine, the fumes, the pollution down. So I feel that this is a very, very important, and it is not a Tesla EV, it is affordable EV, which Bhavish is making. I think excellent job Bhavish has done in building Ola Electric.
Yeah, talking about your fitness and the health aspect of it. How are you so fit at this age?
So I feel, and from younger days, I felt that fitness is important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people don't give that much importance to health and fitness. It is your own health and it is your own fitness. You're
True.
not talking of somebody else. So people don't exercise, people don't eat properly, people don't sleep properly. And there's so many things which have to be done. So I try to follow a discipline, which I follow even now, of 1 hour exercise every day. Also eat moderately and sleep well, sleep deeply. These are 3 rules of the game I follow. And I think for good health, physical health and mental health both, you have to follow these 3. I feel that we owe it to ourselves and our family. I mean, if I don't have good health or I'm not fit enough, then I am not keeping my promise to myself. I'm not keeping my promise to my family, my children, my wife, my parents. How can you do that? So give time to yourself. I think that is what I like to request all the young people. Give time to yourself. At least 1 hour a day to your health.
That's like an enlightening statement for me too. But how do you balance the work, the busy schedule at work and
You have to be
this?
time efficient. You need to do ABC analysis, focus on A category issues, be very selective on B. Maybe some B you will do. Don't do C.
Okay.
So you have to kind of classify all the things in ABC and then be time efficient. Everything is doable. I mean, look at the schedule which Prime Minister Modi is following. I mean, he's the most active world leader now in the world.
Yes.
And he follows it. For example, he was on 3-day, 4-day visit recently to Japan and Australia, and he had 40 meetings in 3 days.
My God.
And each of the meeting was high quality, intense. The point I'm making is that it is doable. If you want to do it, it's doable. You have to be time efficient. You have to be focused on right priorities. And you will achieve it.
Brilliant. So, as a startup coach, what are some of the major mistakes that today's founders make?
You know, founders are very good on technology. They're very good on passion. They're very good on new product for the consumer. They're very good in many, many things. But I think what they don't fully understand is scalability. How to scale up the business from 1x to 2x to 5x, 10x, 20x. And that's where many times, a integrated approach is not taken. Some parts of the organization, let's say the front customer-facing sales and marketing is scaled up, and the back end is not scaled up. Systems are not scaled up. Organization is not scaled up. Manpower is not scaled up, or scaled up too fast.
Yeah.
So these are the mismatches which I help them to avoid. Because if you do it in a very systematic fashion, in an orderly fashion, then scale up becomes smooth. And all these startups have to scale up in a big way to become national and international. But the process of scale up has to be very systematic, very, very integrated for achieving the objectives of scale up. Because if you're scaled up, let's say 2x, 3x, 5x, but not earning the margins which you expected, then something wrong with the scale up process, which you need to correct.
So profitable scaling and a systematic approach where the fundamentals of finance are stable.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. You've been HR and you've been leading high performance teams all over your career. So can you give some startups, like the startups of today, some advices on how we can go about building high performance teams and the work culture?
Okay, so let me talk to the startups directly. I feel that startups first need to have a clarity of mission. Once you have clarity of the mission you're going to achieve, spread that clarity to all the employees, all the partners, all the vendors, all the stakeholders. Number 2, give employees a lot of tools and resources and budgets to achieve their goals. Break up the goals into parts and let employee achieve his or her goal definitely through your support. Third, achieve a very open, transparent environment to perform. Because if it is open, trustworthy environment, performance will be far better and employees will love it. They'll be loyal to the company, they'll be loyal to the future of the company. And finally, if any employee is not working out, let's say, counsel, do training, give help, give support. 90% of such employees will turn around and do a better job. 10% may not, who may have to leave the company, but 90% will be turning around. So this is a way to build a high-performance work culture.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. And now talking about outsourcing a lot of activities in the startup. So how do you ensure motivation when they are not your company employees?
No, you have to deal with them as company employees. You have to respect them as company employees. If they are not working in a good environment, you have to improve the environment. You can't neglect them. You can't
True.
say they are working for you and your customer. So to that extent, for example, all our employees of our partners like Ericsson, Nokia, there were 5 big BPOs. We had nearly 1 lakh call center agents who were working for Airtel.
My God.
And we always tried to keep an eye on them, meet them. I used to meet them personally. I used to sit and take calls with them, ensure that their quality of work life is good quality rather than... Because if their quality of work life is poor, then it will impact my customer.
True.
So that is important. Treated with a lot of respect, treated with a lot of comfort, rather than treated as a second category or third category. There could be differences in salary, etc. That's okay. But in terms of basic comfort in trying to achieve their objectives and goals, it should be given.
Brilliant. And talking about startups again, how are the investment opportunities in India today, and how do you see what are the challenges and entire Indian ecosystem of startups? What are some of the challenges and investment opportunities in India?
No, I think the investment opportunities are fantastic. India is the fastest growing economy now in the world. Government is supportive. Funding has come down because of the winter, but I'm sure by next year it will go up further, go back to normal. Because if the founders across the board focus on profitability, cash flows and good governance, I think funding will come back. Now the problems they are facing is that they are not getting trained talent. I think there has to be far more focus on training and upskilling. You can't say that a person comes into the company and starts delivering next day.
Yes.
You need to give time, give training, give proper skilling opportunity, number one. Number two is that the systems and processes have to be laid down. There has to be end-to-end digitization systems, because otherwise scalability can't be achieved.
True.
Yes, a lot of routine work has to be done by systems, not by people.
Yes.
So manual work has to be eliminated. So digitization has to be done in every company, end-to-end, starting from your vendors, going up to your dealers, customers, so that everything is digitized online. That will remarkably improve the productivity and efficiency.
Awesome.
And the third thing which I like to add is that the compliances which sometimes are neglected should not be neglected. The regulatory compliances, etc., are very, very important. So the founders should give compliances a very high priority. And they should always plan to achieve 100% of compliances.
Makes sense. I can see in your words how a wise man speaks about how country is important, how the globe has to be taken care of first, and then only our all the other needs. And a lot about how an employee should be treated in an organization. Today, when we work in an MNC and then go to a startup, we see a lot of difference in the way an employee is treated. That's quite unfortunate. And when we ask founders about why is this happening, the reasons that they say are they are established companies. They can pay for good HRs and all the processes and all of that. They basically blame it on, it requires a lot of capital.
You don't need capital for giving respect.
Exactly.
You don't need capital for motivating somebody. You don't need capital for institutionalizing systems, processes.
Absolutely. From what you say, my key takeaways about building startups today are, one, the entire culture has to be positive from the day one and it can't be compromised.
Absolutely.
And secondly, having financial fundamentals very strong.
Yes.
Giving value to both customers and our investors.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And any other suggestions for people who want to start up today that you have to say?
No, if you are starting up a new business, a new venture, then get your product right first, validate the product, get your profitable business model right, validate the business model, And third, get your team, top team, right? Either co-founders or some professionals who will help you. I think these three are the starting points. If you get these three green ticks, then other things will fall into place very rapidly.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. And I am sure our audience had a lot of insights to take back home. And today, what we have seen is generations of wisdom. And it has come from 45 years of experience and not something we get every day and on every episode. And I'm so glad that you made your time from, you took the time out of your busy schedule to give us all this wisdom and your insights. What a man and what an insightful journey. I am so happy to bring such amazing insights to you all through Startup Stories with Sanjana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjana. And do watch Startup Stories from Sanjana every week.
Well, this has been our episode with Mr. Kohli. I am sure you had a lot of insights to take away. Please comment and let me know what was your key takeaway from this episode. And also, if you have any guest suggestions that you would want to see on Startup Stories with Sanjana, you can also DM me on Instagram or put it in the comment section below and let me know what you think and any suggestions for guests or any suggestions on the podcast in general. Please feel free to share with me. I hope to make Startup Stories with Sanjana better and better for you all and for all of us. Let's learn together. Let's travel this path together. Hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next episode.